Hi, my name is Thomas Park, and I live in St. Louis, South City, St. Louis, with my wife and our two cats. And I also recently found out I get to be a volunteer DJ at KDHX, one of the local stations, 88.1 KDHX FM. And I'm going to have a show once a week called Synthetic Sounds. It's going to be on every Tuesday morning from 3 to 5 a.m. for a 2-hour show. The focus of that show is going to be electronic music, which is something that I've always, for many years I've been a fan of electronic music. Pretty much since I've been an adult, I've enjoyed different kinds of electronic music. I have a pretty broad appreciation of it, I think. And I just wanted to talk about the show because there's something kind of different about the way I'm trying to do this, which is instead of going out and just thinking of songs that I know that are in the electronic genre, I'm using a tool, and the tool is a Python code, which I created. A couple years ago, I went to a launch code class, LC 101, and they taught Python there, and I really enjoyed learning about Python. Found it to be an interesting coding language, and I've used it in a number of my own apps that I've developed on my own side. And the app I'm going to be using for the show is called Hitmaker. I made that up. And Hitmaker is it's a program that basically takes one or two keywords, usually genre-based words are good, and it goes into the Internet Archive. The Internet Archive is a big collection of Creative Commons licensed or public domain material that many have contributed to. It's kind of a wiki format site that stores and shares culture and material. And so it's going to go out there and it's going to use those keywords and it's going to find MP3s that match whatever search term. So for my show, say I try something like minimal techno, and I go out into the net labels, it's going to find as many as a few thousand tracks that are in that genre, those two genres that fit those terms. Then what it does is it chooses from the list that's made of those tracks a certain number and downloads them to my computer. And the other thing that Hitmaker does is it creates a playlist of it selects about 30 of those tracks and makes a little text file with a playlist, and makes those and also makes an M3U, which is a playlist file which I can use for my show. So Hitmaker it helps me harvest the music for the show. It keeps it topical. It lets me find material I wouldn't have found otherwise. Like, this is a lot of stuff. If I was just looking through the web, I'd have a hard time choosing some of these tracks. But when I actually hear them, when they've been downloaded and put into a playlist for me by the Hitmaker software, by the code, they sound pretty cool. So a lot of times that kind of opens my mind to some new music, and I'm hoping that it will also help me to bring that new music to listeners in St. Louis, where this show is going to be hosted. So I use the Hitmaker. I know there's another software I use called Hybrid, which basically once I have the Hitmaker playlists, I go through them, and I obviously have to take anything out that's offensive or is actually death metal or some stuff like that people posted, and they said it was techno, but it wasn't, and then occasionally there's some stuff that's just so badly mastered or just distasteful, so I usually will take that out. And what I'm left with is usually a list of 20 to 25 some odd tracks per show that are in an electronic genre, one of the genres. And the hybrid software then allows me, once I have those playlists constructed, I can combine the playlists with each other. So it'll go into the list of playlists I have and recombine the tracks. So then I can make some shows that aren't directly topical, but contain tracks I've already heard and approved of. So once all the tracks are together in a playlist, it's almost ready to play for the show. All I have to do is basically to go in and fill in some information about the year and some other the album name and stuff like that to get the information correct for their own playlist record, and just to make sure everything is there and ready to go. And then when it comes time for my show, Tuesday mornings 3 to 5, I'll just bring my laptop in and queue up one of those shows, the playlists, and go down the playlist and play the tracks, and that's going to comprise the show. So it's the stuff that I was searching for by certain key terms in the Internet Archive. It's all CC licensed free culture, and it's downloaded them. I've sort of taken out anything that's offensive or not topical, and then I'm left with some stuff that hopefully will be kind of different, kind of new, and give people an ear for some different tunes that they've never heard. So I just want to talk a little bit about that and about the show. I hope you'll join me at KDHX. If you're not in St. Louis, you can go to kdhx.org and look for the Synthetic Sounds show. You can also find my website, some links there, and hunt me down, listen to my show, or feel free to contact me via email from my website, which is thomasparksolutions8.com, thomasparksolutions8.com, and I have an email address there. So the show is kind of different. I think it's the first time I've ever seen this kind of curated automation used to collect sounds for an FM radio broadcast. So I want to explain that to you all, and I hope you'll tune into the show and rock on. Thanks, Thomas Park.